Hello, data folks. Thanks for joining me again on this channel dedicated to data and IT professionals. In this video, I'll show you how to set up a free dbt cloud account. Connect it to Snowflake, which will serve as the data warehouse where transformations will run. Configure GitHub to version control your code. Then, we'll build a small dbt project together for something practical like a customer revenue report. We'll see how to write models in SQL, test them, and commit our changes to the GitHub repository. We'll also explore how dbt automatically shows the data lineage graph, which is a huge help for developers when debugging and understanding model dependencies. Finally, we'll see how the table's dbt builds can feed into downstream applications, including dashboards and reports. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete end-to-end understanding of what a typical day looks like for a dbt developer. All right, let's jump in. Head to the official website at getdbt.com and select Start for Free today. Please enter a few basic details about yourself. When you're done, click Start Free Trial. Let's take a quick look at dbt's pricing. We're now signing up for the free developer tier, which gives you a 14-day trial of all the starter plan features. Once the trial ends, you'll land on the lifetime free developer plan. It is limited to one project and one developer, but more than enough for learning or small-scale projects. When you log in for the first time, you'll need to verify your email address. Please feel free to answer these questions based on what best fits your case. All right, we're on the screen where we're ready to set up our first dbt project. If you're doing this alongside me, you'll need to have two things ready before we move forward. First, a database or data warehouse supported by dbt. I'll be using Snowflake in this demo. As you may already know, dbt is a data transformation tool. It is not designed to handle ingestion of raw data from external systems or the delivery of data to downstream systems. Instead, it focuses exclusively on transforming data that already resides in your data warehouse. In real-world projects, ingesting raw data into the warehouse is handled by other tools like Fivetran, Talend, Informatica, Snowpipe, and more. With that said, if you want to set up the raw data I have over here, please follow this video link where I show you step-by-step how to create production-like tables and data for your practice. The next prerequisite is a GitHub repository. If you already have a dbt project repository, like this one, with full access, feel free to use it. But in this demo, I'm going to create a brand new repository from scratch, and I'll name it OMS dbt Cloud. With those two prerequisites in place, let's get back to setting up our dbt project. Start by giving your project a name. Now, set up a connection to your data warehouse. I'm using Snowflake for this demo, but as you can see, dbt supports a wide range of data platforms. Fill in your Snowflake account details here. Click Save. Then, return to the project setup page and select the Snowflake connection you just created. Go ahead and fill out the rest of the details, then test the connection. If everything looks good, you'll see a green check mark. Next, let's configure the GitHub repository we created earlier. This step gives dbt access to your GitHub account. You can choose to give access to all your repositories or just the specific ones you want dbt to work with. Once that's done, head back to the dbt project setup page. You should now see a list of repositories from your GitHub account. Go ahead and select the one you want to use. Now we're inside dbt Cloud's IDE called dbt Studio. This is where most of the development happens. Since this is a brand new repository, we need to initialize it with the default dbt folder structure. You can do this easily using the Initialize dbt project button. The initialize command also sets up two basic models for practice, which is perfect for a quick start before we move on to building something more meaningful. This YAML file you see here contains short descriptions of the models, along with some built-in tests configured to run on them. The first model simply generates two rows, one with an ID value of 1 and the other with a null. The second model pulls data from the first one, but only includes the row where ID equals 1. Just simple dummy models to verify everything is working as expected. Notice how the ref function is used to call the first model. This creates an implicit dependency between the two. In dbt, you don't need to manually define model relationships. dbt handles that for you using references. You can use this build dropdown to execute the model. Please take a look at the different types of commands you'll see here. Build executes the model, and then executes its associated tests. Run only executes the model. Test executes only the tests. You'll also notice options to run upstream or downstream models. Downstream runs the current model and all its successors. Upstream runs all its predecessors first, then the current model. You can also combine both to run all predecessors, the model, and all successors. For this demo, I'll choose to build the model along with its upstream. This run is expected to fail. That's intentional. dbt leaves this model with a test failure on purpose to show how automated testing is built into your regular dbt data loads. Remember that YAML file? There was a test defined on the first model that doesn't allow null values in the ID field. Let's troubleshoot this in our model. As you can see, the second record in the first model contains a null value for the ID. We'll fix that by changing the ID to 2. Now let's build the second model again, along with its upstream. And this time, the build completes successfully. Now that we've tested everything and it's working, let's commit our changes to the GitHub repository. Add a commit message and push. When we go back to GitHub and refresh the repository, you'll see the full dbt folder structure and the models we just committed from dbt cloud. Great progress. Now, let's do something more meaningful. My data warehouse has raw customer details, orders, and order items tables. Let's say the business wants to create a report or dashboard showing the top 10 customers by revenue, as well as by the number of orders they've placed. Let's go ahead and implement this in dbt. I know we made changes directly on the main branch earlier, but that's generally not a best practice. It's always better to create a separate feature branch when working on new development. Let's create a new feature branch for developing our customer revenue report. We don't need these example models anymore, so I'm going to delete them all. Under the Models folder, create a new folder named Customer Revenue. Next, you need to create a YAML configuration file. This file contains all the configuration for your dbt models. It specifies which database and schema your source tables are in within your data warehouse. You should list all the source tables you plan to use in the project here. The identifier tells dbt the exact table name in your warehouse, and the name is the internal dbt name for the source table. I've kept both the same, but you can choose different internal names if you want. At a high level, I'm going to use 3 source tables for this customer revenue report: customers, orders, and order items. First, I'll create 3 staging models in dbt, one for each of those source tables. Then, I'll join the orders and order item staging models to create the orders fact model. Finally, I'll join the customer staging model with the orders fact to build the final customer revenue model. Let's go ahead and build all of this in dbt cloud. I'm starting with the 3 staging models. You can optionally preview the results of each model as you build them one by one. Basic table-level transformations, like filtering rows, renaming columns, or combining fields, are generally handled within these staging models. It's worth noting how these source tables are referenced in your dbt SQL files using the source function. Next, I'm creating the orders fact model. This joins the orders and order item staging models and calculates revenue and order counts across multiple dimensions. While this project requires aggregates only at the customer level, I'm also creating aggregates at other levels to accommodate potential future enhancements. And finally, the customer revenue model. This one brings everything together by joining the orders fact with customer stage and computing the final customer level aggregates. I have given my Git repository link in the description, so feel free to copy all these codes from it. Once done, we can build or execute the final customer revenue model along with its predecessors. It has completed successfully. You can get the fully qualified name of the table from the log. Choose the model you want to check. Go to Details. And down below here, you will see the complete create table statement that was run in your warehouse. As you can see, it has initially created as view, but you can change this behavior by adding configuration parameter either in model or in the YAML file. Let's rebuild the model again. This time it has created as table. And the name of the table will be the model name itself, and the target database and schema are completely configurable using YAML files. Now, let's check the results in the Snowflake warehouse. Here, I can see all my stage and fact tables, as well as the final customer revenue table, each corresponding to a model we built in dbt. These tables get recreated or refreshed with the latest data whenever you build the models in dbt. You can simply query these tables as needed to review or validate the results. Everything looks perfect. This clearly demonstrates how SQL-based scripts, which are widely understood and easy to work with, can perform various data transformations, such as filtering, joining, aggregating, and more, at scale. Now that we've verified everything, it's time to commit our development work to the Git repository. When we head over to the GitHub repository, we'll notice that our committed changes are not reflected just yet. That's because we've been working in a feature branch. To get these changes into the main branch, we need to create a pull request. Once the pull request is merged, the changes will be reflected in the main branch. From there, the updated project can be promoted to higher environments, such as staging and production. Back in dbt, I want to highlight a couple of important tabs that dbt developers frequently use. First, the Lineage tab. It shows a model's upstream and downstream dependencies, making it easier to understand how data flows across your models. Next, the Compile tab. This displays the actual SQL code that dbt sends to your data warehouse. dbt generally wraps this select statement inside a create table as select statement before sending it to the warehouse. It's a great way to double-check what exactly will run behind the scenes in your warehouse to transform your data. We've completed our development work in dbt and created the necessary transform tables in Snowflake. All our changes have been committed and pushed to the GitHub repository. Now, let's take a look at how reports and dashboards are built on top of these tables, something our in-business users have been asking for. Usually, report developers handle this part using BI tools, and for this demo, I'm using Power BI. First, connect to your data warehouse using the necessary details and credentials. Please specify the database where dbt has created the transform tables. For this report, I'll select only the final customer revenue table. Power BI reports can work in two different modes, depending on your needs. Import mode downloads the entire table from your warehouse and stores it locally for faster processing. On the other hand, direct query mode hits your warehouse every time you run or refresh the report without relying on a local copy. For now, I'll proceed with import mode. This is the main Power BI canvas where the report development happens. On the right-hand side, you'll see your data, that is, the tables and columns available. Between the data and the canvas, you'll find the visualizations pane, along with filters and other settings you can apply. Let's create a vertical bar chart, also known as a column chart. I'll drag customer name to the x-axis and revenue to the y-axis. There it is, a clean visual that clearly shows what the business was looking for. You can sort and filter your results as needed. Let's try showing the top 10 customers by revenue. Please feel free to adjust the title as needed. You can easily add more visuals as needed. Let's add one more for order count, this time using a donut chart. I'll drag customer name to the legend and order count to the values. Please adjust your filters and sorting as needed. From here, there's plenty of room to enhance the look and feel, which you can explore further on your own. Congratulations! You have successfully completed an end-to-end dbt, Snowflake, and Power BI project. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, please give a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. Thanks for watching.